Now, not only do we have lots of historical architecture here in the town of Tanbridge, we also have a rich variety of famous residents. Of course, everyone has heard of the famous writers Jim Harman, Anna Collins and Ian Cheriton, or I.H. Cheriton as he is better known, and they have all lived in our small town. In fact, Anna Collins, the celebrated romance novelist, spent all her life in this town. She lived by the town square, where there is a plaque to commemorate her. She died in 1968, and you can see her gravestone in Tanbridge Cemetery. You may know Anna from her most famous work, The Pride of Angels, which won numerous awards and for which she was a runner-up for the Herald Prize in 1950. James Harman also lived here between 1975 and 1990. A best-selling horror writer, he got many of his themes for his haunting novels from this very town. He passed away a year after leaving Tanbridge, and although he isn't buried in the town, we do have a statue of him on the roundabout as you enter the town. Now, I.H. Cheriton has been the Poet Laureate for 3 years, and he lives in Tanbridge today. His home is the Red House by the river. Not only a poet, he has also written 10 novels that have topped the book sales charts. He always does a lot of work for local charities, and is quite a gem in this town. Lastly, another famous resident of Tanbridge is Sylvia Daniels. She grew up in Tanbridge and went to the local comprehensive here. You can see her childhood home just across the river by the post office. Now, I am sure you all know her for her latest film, Planet Dust, which has just reached #1 at the cinema box office. But she wasn't always an actress. Before she headed for Hollywood, you could have seen her waiting tables in the Dorridge restaurant here in town. She often comes back to visit, as her family all still live here. If you're lucky, you may even catch a glimpse of her.
OK, so to finish, I want to look at the resources available for researching UK census information for the essay you'll be writing at the end of this module. There are many resources for the study of the civilian population and family history out there, ranging from public to academic to commercial. Some are available for the public to access free of charge, whilst others are only available by payment of fees or restricted to academics and subject to registration. Some are more appropriate to family or genealogical investigation, others to historical population research. So, if we start at the beginning of the list on your handout, you'll see firstly there is the Family Records Centre based in central London. The centre and their website are available to anyone in the country who has an interest in researching demographic data. Their work might be useful to give you an overview of the general sorts of data and services available. Unfortunately, you do have to pay a registration charge of £20 for a year's access to their material. The next resource on the list is Genes Reunited, which is mainly for people who want to find out more about their ancestors. There are some good interactive tools on this website, especially the one which shows you how to manipulate the National Census Association's statistical data. Although Genes Reunited is very useful, it is used by a range of businesses and therefore accessing the site will cost you. Now, the third item on the handout is the National Census Association, which contains the most up-to-date data as it's compiled from official government census data every 10 years. Both companies and individuals are able to access all their resources without payment, so this may be a good place to start your research. Finally, I'd just like to draw your attention to 2 journals at the bottom of the handout. The first one, Journal of Historical Migration, is not actually a journal, but a collection of articles on a website. Anyway, you might like to take a look at it because it has several articles on the importance of recording census data from a historical research perspective. This site is available to the general public, so you don't have to pay or register. The other one, the Journal of Social Demography, is only available using your university online journal's login details, as it can only be accessed by those studying or researching in higher education. Right, well, that should be enough reading for you.
Right, team. This afternoon, I want to go over the new marketing and advertising strategy so that everyone is clear on the streams for each of our product ranges. Let's start with toys for children. Now, last year, most of the advertising was done through leaflets posted through people's letterboxes across the city. However, the products are now selling well nationally in department stores rather than just in our local shop here in Leeds. So, we're going to expand the budget and use print media. By this, I mean the national newspapers, in order to maximise the exposure to these products. And despite the fact that our competitors advertise baby clothes on TV, we won't be using this method, as our statistics show that it's just not cost effective. People don't pay much attention to TV ads for baby clothes, but we believe a picture in the newspapers will be much more attractive to potential customers. We're going with this method. As far as clothing for expectant mothers is concerned, the campaign will move from newspapers to the internet due to the fact that we've seen an increase in internet shopping for clothes among women in general. And finally, baby food. Adverts for this are difficult to place, and we've previously tried ads in all three media. Anyway, although our analysis has shown that the internet is one possibility, we're going to continue using television. Many other types of food are also advertised on TV, and happy mothers and babies make a very strong image.
Hello there. I want to get a French dictionary for my daughter, but I'm not sure whether to get an electronic dictionary or a book.
It really depends on what sort of level she's at with the language.
She's been studying for 5 years now. She's done German for 3, and I think she's pretty advanced. She's been on 3 separate month-long exchanges in the south of France.
In that case, she'd get the most benefit from a really good book dictionary.
That's interesting. My daughter's heart's set on an electronic dictionary. You know, one of those pocket-sized things. She says it's so much easier to carry and use. They are much handier, aren't they?
I think it's okay for looking up words for beginners, and it's useful when you're travelling, but if you're really committed to learning and genuinely interested in a language, a proper dictionary is much better. A good book dictionary has far more examples and explanations, and a vastly wider range of vocabulary. When you look at the page, you can see so many more different words at the same time, which you can't on an electronic display, and that can really help you expand your vocabulary.
Isn't it much slower than an electronic dictionary?
To start with, perhaps, but once you get used to a real dictionary, it's actually far faster for advanced language learners. You find the information you need really quickly.
OK, you convinced me. So which dictionary do you think I should get?
For advanced learners, there are really only 2 serious options. Neither of them cheap, I'm afraid.
That's OK. It's a good investment, I think. Is that the Webster's Dictionary, the black and green one?
That's it. And next to it you can see on its side the Branston's Dictionary, the red and blue one.
Is there much to choose between them?
There is, although both of them are excellent in their way. In general, I'd say the Webster's is slightly trendier, sort of more streetwise, so their examples, their definitions are more up to date. The Branston's Dictionary is sort of misleading in its appearance. You can take pages out and add some, and you can get updates sent to you every year for no extra charge if you register on the website.
How often?
Every year. It's a really good feature. The Branston's looks like it's less academic in tone than the Webster's because it's in a binder, but in fact the opposite is true.
That's interesting. Someone told me one of them comes with a CD or something.
Yes, that's the Branston's. It's at the back in a thick envelope. Oh no, hang on. Tell a lie, it's the Webster's. It's a pronunciation guide. I think it's a bit of a gimmick, but it's in the price, so it doesn't do any harm.
So you'd say the Branston's is a bit more academic, if perhaps a bit old-fashioned?
Generally speaking, you can find a broader selection of the different forms of the words, but the downside to that is that it can be a bit convoluted. I like getting all that detail, but not everyone needs all that extra baggage, if you know what I mean. The Webster's is slightly more lucid in its explanations. It uses plainer English and French, so that's a plus for a lot of people.
You've been extremely helpful. I must tell the manager. From what you've said, I think the one I'll buy is the...